Well, thank you very much, and apologies for keeping you away from lunch. I know the attention span won't be the same as before the announcement, but we'll try to make it as interesting as possible with, economic speech and economic talk and numbers. For the past 2 years, most governments have been through, let's say, some of the most difficult times we've gotten to experience in the recent decades. And we've come to the situation where there seems to be some sort of a fiscal exhaustion from the governments. Too many strains and pressures on the fiscal budget, first with the pandemic, then securing the vaccines, securing the right proper infrastructure in the health sector. And then afterwards, the governments needed to step in to save the economies after the closure from the pandemic, the lockdowns. And then last winter, we had the energy crisis, afterwards the war in Ukraine. So crisis and problem after problem that has somehow caused this fiscal exhaustion and basically put almost all of the countries in their limits. And we're entering a new winter, again, with high uncertainties when it comes to energy prices, electricity prices in general. And it seems like there doesn't seem to be an end. But I think, considering with what we've seen so far, this is more of a common problem that we need to solve. And I think it's not possible to solve the problem of the energy crisis, to leave it to each country alone. Otherwise, we will have a situation of dancing chairs where, due to short supply, somebody will be left out. And that's why I think the right approach is for the European Union in this case, and Europe in general, to take a common approach and to take a common stance when it comes to this in order to apply the same measures and the same support towards households, but also businesses. After this, I think there will be additional pressures, especially that will result or materialize in the upcoming year. And this comes due to the higher interest rates, which is a necessary evil in the sense of fighting inflation, but that at the same time, it will find many of the developing economies unprepared for after, let's say, for the past 15 years, having near zero interest rate environments. And this will put additional pressure that will come basically from higher public debt, higher interest rates that they will have to roll over existing debt, but also finance new debt at higher interest rates. And at the same time, other needs for support, which will be supporting households and businesses in the energy sector or in terms of electricity prices, but also other, let's say, fiscal pressures, which comes to social payments and especially pension funds. But not everything is as dark as it seems. I think due to the fact that our people and our businesses, our entrepreneurs have gone through many hardships before, they have become resilient. And as such, our economy is much more resilient, I think. And when I say that, I speak also regionally. This can be seen, although despite coming of a much higher growth rate from past year, this current year, you can see the economy is still expanding despite these hardships. You can see credit is expanding, and you can tell the economy is still at a healthy level with the very low rate of non-performing loans that the banking sector has, which stand at 2%, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe the bank representatives from NLB can correct me. So we do have a resilient, let's say, economy, but there's always more as a government that needs to be done. And that's why we've supported businesses first, as the business representative from the AmCham mentioned, by not increasing or by not allowing, by subsidizing the price shock of electricity and not allowing it to increase. As a government, we wanted, one, to ensure that our manufacturers continue to produce and expand in order to fill the gaps and voids created by the supply chain disruption in a global level. And second, by not giving them an excuse to increase profit margins by blaming, let's say, higher electricity costs. The other support that we tried, or we have placed as a measure, was to subsidize investment loans that were dedicated for increasing manufacturing capacities. And through that, I think it was a very good program, and we have some beneficiary companies here I've seen. So I think we need to see how we can continue this support, but at the same time be careful that we do not slip, let's say, into non-prudential fiscal measures and fiscal policies, because we also have to keep in check the long-term planning and the long-term sustainability of tax policies, government expenditures, and financing in general. So I think we have opportunities also in every crisis, in every bad situation, bad environment. There are opportunities, and I think those opportunities, we can benefit from those opportunities as a region and also as a country by having the right ingredients, which were mentioned many times by now. So young, talented labor force, low tax regime, and very sustainable public finances. And these are, I think, the ingredients that help an investor to make a decision when they are now considering, after the disruption of trade routes, after we've seen that on a global level the economy has become too globalized. So now if a country is having a problem and a producer is sourcing a particular material from that country, the entire production line has to be stopped, because nearshoring has become the new norm. And I think that's where we can benefit as a government, as countries, as economies, and I think that's what's going to support us towards a more resilient economy. So more intertwined regionally, but at the same time making decisions together so that we don't have a sort of a dancing chairs game. Thank you.